Behind its candy-colored world, cute art style, and upbeat music, Takopi's Original Sin is a horror story about what children do with pain they don't fully understand. It's a fantastic example of aesthetic dissonance, where the cute presentation of the story stands in contrast to its severe subject matter. However, the most interesting thing the story does is continue this mismatch in presentation and underlying truth via the character perspectives through which we view the story, eventually culminating in a fascinating climax in episode 2. Takopi's Original Sin is told through two sets of warped eyes. The first are those of Shizuka, who feels the pain of the world but thinks of it as unchangeable. She lives a life of parental neglect and schoolyard torment, her mother always too busy escorting her customers to where they need to be at night, her absent father forced away due to a divorce, leaving only his dog behind that becomes his daughter's sole companion, her classmate Marina ruthlessly tormenting her verbally, physically, through plots and schemes and words and actions. Through Shizuka's eyes, this is simply her life. There is no fixing it. It is the way it is, and it will never change. For when she was little, she wished upon a star with all of her little heart for something to stop her parents' divorce, and as a result, she learned that there is no magic in her world. There's nothing she can do to make her mother care about her, there's nothing she can do to bring her dad back, and there's certainly nothing she can do to stop Marina's attacks. Through Shizuka's eyes, neglect and abuse are simply unavoidable facets of her reality. Through her perspective, the anime depicts the normalization of abusive situations in the mind of children, the learned helplessness that continues their suffering. In stark contrast to this, the second set of eyes are those of Takopi, a Happian from planet Happy. Seemingly coming from a gentle, happiness-filled utopian society, everything he sees is filtered through his lived experience, which is that at the core of the entire world, from the broadest level of society down to an individual child, is gentleness, goodness, and a fundamental structuring around happiness. Where our eyes would show us a beaten and broken little girl, Takopi's eyes show him that when humans get into fights, their faces change color, just as how his face turns red when he gets shy. Where our eyes would show us a little girl stiff and lifeless hanging from a noose in her bedroom, Takopi's eyes show him that she made a silly mistake and didn't realize that the friendship ribbon that makes anyone it's wrapped around be your friend wouldn't work for an inanimate object like a ceiling beam. Where our eyes would show us a little girl ruthlessly bullying another girl to the point of suicide, Takopi's eyes show him two friends bickering, something that can easily be solved through one of his many happy gadgets, a collection of quick and painless solutions to every problem he could possibly encounter. While Shizuka's eyes see abuse as normal and unchangeable, Takopi's eyes fail to even perceive it, instead rationalizing it through the perspective of someone who has never experienced it or even comprehended it, providing naive solutions based on his flawed perceptions. Now, as a viewer who sees the truth that's obscured from these two pairs of eyes, when we watch Takopi's Original Sin, we wish for these perspectives to be toppled. We yearn for Shizuka to regain hope and agency, and for Takopi to recognize reality's harsh complexities and the inadequacy of whimsical solutions so that he can actually start to help Shizuka. But what ends up happening at the end of episode 2 is that Takopi commits his original sin. A realization that Marina's cruelty cannot be undone with ribbons or stickers, a realization that pushes him in panic to wield the only gadget left to him: violence. Marina's death at the hands of Takopi at the end of episode 2 is a perfect wrong answer to what we were hoping for. Yes, in that instant, Shizuka's learned helplessness finally gives way to wonder because a miracle she had long abandoned, someone saving her, has finally occurred. Yet the price of that miracle is a corpse on the dirt and the quiet acceptance of murder as a tool for happiness. Thus, instead of the warped perspectives finally experiencing clarity, they snap back into shape around a new, darker core. With celebratory classical music, Shizuka's hope is rekindled, but it is anchored to bloodshed, while Takopi's optimism survives, now armed with the conviction that lethal force can be just another happy gadget. The climactic end of episode 2 marks the first act's central horror. When innocence tries to fix despair without understanding it, the result can be an even more seductive lie, one that insists the smile of a child is worth any sin committed out of love.